Luke, I am a Nomad's Projects.
This video is the first in a mini-series I call Pimp My Planer. I need some push pads for my Shepak HMS 850 planer thicknesser, so I took some scraps of 18mm plywood and cut it down to size on my brand spanking new miter saw. I held the workpiece down with a push stick to keep my hands safely away from the blade, and then I made sure the blade had come to a complete stop before I lifted the saw. I used an offcut of an old bookshelf to make the handles. I have no idea what wood this is, so if you can identify it, please post a comment. Then I offered up the first piece to the blade so that the next piece would be of the same size. I had some 10mm dowels laying around from some broken IKEA furniture. I drilled holes for the dowels in the handles with my drill press, using a piece of tape on the drill bit to mark the depth. I fixed the pieces of plywood in the machine vise and drilled straight through them with my drill press so that the holes are in the same position. I then cut out the shape of the handles on my homemade table jigsaw. I used the shape of the first handle to make a rough outline for the second one. Then I made a test cut on some scrap wood with a roundover bit, and I rounded over the handles with my homemade router table. Then I cleaned up the inside edges of the handle with a rounded file. I don't have a sanding disc, so I clamped down my detail sander to the workbench and tried that out. After changing to a new 80 grit sandpaper, this worked quite well, and sanding almost became fun. Almost. I used the old IKEA dowels to glue the handles to the pads. Then I drilled the holes for the removable back supports. I used a part of an old clothes hanger for dowels. They were 9 mm, so they should run pretty easy. And I cut them down with my Japanese pull saw. I'm using some grip tape to get traction on the wood, and if the glue on the tape isn't strong enough, I'll just fix it with epoxy later. I decided to test the push pads while waiting for the back supports to dry, so I consulted my very professional cut list. It quickly became apparent that the back supports are needed on at least one of the push pads. Here the angle is a bit awkward, but you can tell that I'm using a push stick on the right hand.
So here are the backstops for the push pads. It actually works.
And here we are testing the final product. With the workpiece upright, I still found it better to use a normal push stick for my right hand. The pads also worked great with longer boards, although some more friction would have been handy. That's it for today, guys. If this is your first visit to my channel, please consider subscribing. Remember to leave a thumbs up if you liked the video, as I find it very motivating. Have a great time, guys. Catch you in the next one.